was already inside the building. He had the access code.
Access granted.
He cut the power, and he was climbing the stairs, one floor at a time. Not every monster hides in the dark. Some of them wear masks. Some of them know the building better than you do. Tonight, 3 real security guards share the shifts that changed them forever. The nights they realized they were never alone. This is the Cursed Owl, and every word of this is real. I've been in this industry for 6 years, long enough to earn my seniority, long enough to know what a normal shift feels like, and exactly what one doesn't. I have more training than most of the guards I work with, more credentials, more experience. Because of that, I get to choose my shifts, and I never choose overnights. But a few months ago, that changed. The company picked up a new contract, a government building, 6 stories tall. The location was strange, even for a government facility. It sat in the middle of nowhere, a 6-story concrete structure surrounded by a massive parking lot, enclosed by a 10-foot metal fence, topped with barbed wire. One way in, one way out. The side road leading to it stretched 3 miles from the main highway. Thick woods pressed against the fence on every side. No houses, no traffic, no lights, except the building itself. At night, it felt like the rest of the world stopped existing beyond that fence. Because of my seniority, I normally worked mornings or evenings, weekends off. But after a few months on this contract, we started losing overnight guards. People just didn't want to stay, especially on weekends. The overnight weekend shift was 1 guard, alone. My supervisor asked me to help out temporarily. I needed the money, new apartment coming up, so I said yes. I really should have said no. The first 2 weekends were completely fine, nothing unusual, nothing out of place. But the third weekend is what I still think about. It was Saturday, around 2 in the morning. A severe thunderstorm had moved in. Heavy rain, thunder shaking the walls of the building every few minutes. I was in the camera control room on the 6th floor. Lights off. Just me, the monitors, and the sound of rain hammering the windows. I was doing what most overnight guards do when they're alone at 2 in the morning. Phone propped up, movie downloaded, Game Boy on the desk beside me. After sitting for a while, I got up to stretch, walked over to the window, pulled the blinds back slightly, just watching the storm, wind tearing debris across the parking lot, rain coming down in sheets. I was about to walk away and grab an energy drink when lightning struck. For 1 split second, everything outside lit up white, and I saw it. A figure, darting between 2 trees, beyond the fence, maybe 20 feet from one to the other. I didn't move. I stood at that window, staring into the darkness, waiting for another flash of lightning. It came. Nothing there. I told myself I was just tired, that my eyes were playing tricks. So I walked away, went down the hall, downed the energy drink and the time it took to walk back. 5 minutes. I got back to the control room and immediately noticed it. One of the camera feeds was out. The camera covering the back parking lot. The exact area I had been watching through that window. I went to the window, looked through the blinds in the direction of the camera. It was hanging off its post, swinging in the wind, dangling by its wires. I told myself the storm knocked it loose, wrote it in my report, sat back down. Then the system beeped. Access alert. Someone had entered a code at the back entrance. I pulled up the access log. Green light. Someone was inside. It wasn't a worker. It wasn't another guard. I grabbed the desk phone. Dead. Checked my cell. No signal. I left the control room, started walking the hallway, holding my phone up, searching for any signal at all. And then, the building went dark. Everything, all at once, pitch black. I ran for the stairwell. Get to the truck, just get to the truck. The stairwell was nearly pitch black. I used the darkness as cover, moved quietly. I figured whoever cut the power had come from the generator room, in the basement. The basement was one floor below the lobby, which meant they were below me, between me and the exit. I made it down to the 4th floor. Then I heard it, a door opening. Below me, I stopped. Then I heard them, footsteps, heavy, deliberate, getting louder, coming up the stairs. I turned around, started moving back up, quiet, as fast as I could without making a sound. My plan, get back to the 6th floor, past the door. There's a ladder, leads to a roof hatch. I'd climb up, hide in the darkness, wait. Then, my gun hit the railing. A loud metallic clang echoed through the entire stairwell. I stopped. The footsteps stopped. 1 second, 2, 3. Then they started running. I ran, faster than I have ever moved in my life, up the stairs, floor after floor, lungs burning. At the top, I shoved the 6th floor door open hard, let it slam shut on its own behind me, then sprinted past it to the ladder, and climbed. The diversion worked. I heard him burst through the door, heard his footsteps pound down the hallway. He didn't look up. I dropped from the ladder, 10 feet, hit the floor hard, and ran. He heard it. The door crashed open again. His footsteps thundered back into the stairwell. Both of us, sprinting, full speed, floor after floor after floor. I stayed 1 flight ahead, the whole way down. Then, from somewhere below me, a crash, a cry of pain. I didn't stop. I did not look back. I hit the lobby, slammed through the front entrance, sprinted across the parking lot. Rain pouring, wind howling, hit the fob, engine started, doors unlocked, jumped in. And just as I looked up through the windshield, I saw him, dressed entirely in black, mask, hood, bursting through the building entrance, running straight at my truck. I floored it. Tires screamed against the wet pavement. I didn't stop driving until I reached the main road. I called the police. They arrived 15 minutes later. We searched the entire building, the lot, the surrounding woods. Nothing, until they checked the stairwell, right where the crash had been. A fully loaded, unregistered, semi-automatic handgun dropped on the stairs. To this day, no one knows why someone broke into that building. There was nothing inside worth stealing, but I know one thing. That night, I got lucky. I worked nights in a corporate office building in New Jersey. For the most part, the nights were quiet, boring, uneventful. I almost miss that feeling now. It started just after midnight. The last employees had gone home. The lobby was empty except for me and the blue glow of the security monitors. My job was simple. Check the cameras, run patrol rounds, log incidents, watch for anything unusual. That night, scanning through the feeds, I noticed something on the underground garage camera. A figure, moving between the parked cars. That lot should have been completely empty at that hour. He wasn't heading to any car. He wasn't moving toward the exit, he was just wandering. Slow, deliberate, weaving between the rows like he was inspecting the space. Like he was making absolutely sure no one was watching. I called my supervisor. He told me to stay at my post and watch the cameras. But something was wrong. Something I couldn't name. So I grabbed my flashlight and went down myself. The elevator felt longer than it ever had before. The doors slid open. I stepped out and swept my flashlight across the garage. Empty. Completely, totally empty. The kind of quiet that presses against your ears. I walked every row, called out, "Security!" Checked every shadow between every car. Nothing. I went back upstairs, sat down, told myself the camera had glitched. Then I looked at the garage feed. He was back, standing in the exact same spot. I had just been down there. I had walked that entire garage. There was no physical way he could have gotten back to that spot without me seeing him. Unless he knew I was coming. Unless he watched me the entire time. For the next 20 minutes, I watched him move through the garage. Slow, careful. He drifted toward the stairwell door, and then, just before reaching it, he vanished from the frame. I checked every camera, every hallway, every floor, every exit. Gone. No one disappears that fast, not without knowing exactly where every camera is pointed. Then the lobby elevator dinged, doors slid open. Nobody inside, but on the polished lobby floor, wet footprints, bare feet, leading out of the elevator, across the lobby. Bare feet, in winter, in a building he had no right to be in. He was inside the building. I called for backup, and then, against every instinct, I took the elevator to the 5th floor. Halfway down the hall, one office door was slightly open. It was always locked at night. Always. I pushed it open with my flashlight, swept the room, empty. I stepped back into the hallway and stopped, because I heard them. Footsteps, behind me. Not mine. Heavy, wet, uneven, moving fast. I spun around, swept the flashlight to the far end of the hallway, and there he was. Long, dark coat, standing at the end of the hall. Not running, just walking toward me, slow, purposeful, like he had all the time in the world. And then it hit me. He had been behind me the entire time. Every room I checked, he was just out of sight, waiting for me to turn away, following me. I ran, straight for the stairwell, slammed the door behind me, locked it, pressed my back against it. The footsteps stopped. I sat in that dark stairwell, shaking, listening to nothing but my own heartbeat. When backup finally arrived, we swept every floor, every room, every stairwell, the garage. Nothing. No sign of him. No trace. This happened just a few days ago. My first night as a mobile security trainee. Mobile security means you don't sit in one building. You drive. You respond to sites. You check buildings, disarm fire alarms, run perimeter patrols. That night, my supervisor took me out to a medical clinic in Mississauga, 1:15 in the morning. Routine site visit. But as we stepped out of the vehicle and walked toward the building, something was wrong. The underground parking garage was wide open, and the front door of the clinic shouldn't be possible. Broken, busted open. No alarm, not a single alert from the system. As if whatever had happened here happened in a way the building never registered. We went inside, and then my supervisor grabbed my arm. Look at the elevator. It was moving, on its own. Up from the ground floor, past the 2nd, past the 3rd, and stopped. At the 4th floor, the very top. I asked my supervisor if he thought someone was in there. He pulled out his baton and nodded. In that moment, I hated every decision that had led me to that building. But we got in the elevator and went up. The doors opened on the 4th floor, dark, silent. We turned on the lights and started checking every room. My supervisor told me to stay close, room by room. Nothing. Nobody. Then, from the stairwell directly below us, footsteps. We moved to the stairwell door. My supervisor's hand was on the handle, and then they stopped. Whoever was down there wasn't running. They were waiting. Waiting for us to open that door. My supervisor keyed his radio. "Dispatch, we need immediate backup. Someone is in the building with us. They're downstairs, possibly armed, possibly waiting to ambush." Dispatch told us to hold position. Do not approach. Backup was coming. 15 minutes, in a dark building, on the top floor, knowing that somewhere below us, something was waiting. My supervisor was scared too. I could see it on his face. I told him backup was coming, not to worry. I don't think either of us fully believed it. Then a voice echoed through the building from below. "Security!" Our senior supervisor. Inside. The three of us swept every floor, every room, every bathroom, every stairwell. Nobody. Not a single person. We were on the 3rd floor when we heard it. The front door burst open. Footsteps. Running. Outside the building. By the time we reached the ground floor, they were gone. The three of us just stood there, in silence, in a broken clinic at 2 in the morning. No explanation for who it was. No idea how they moved through that building without any of us finding them. Either they found a hiding spot none of us could identify, or that building holds something none of us are ready to explain. I still don't know which one is worse, but I do know one thing. This weekend, I have to go back. Alone. 3 guards, 3 buildings, 3 nights that none of them will ever stop thinking about. They all did everything right. They called for backup. They followed their training. They made it out. But none of them ever fully left those buildings. If you work nights, if you've ever been alone in a building when something felt off, you already know exactly what they're describing. Stay safe out there, and whatever you do, don't go outside. This has been The Cursed Owl.